wrestlers with open arms. In the heat of the struggle, we feel no harm. Through the fingers grip like steel's too sharp. Together we thrive like a thunderstorm.
Catchiest intro in podcasting history, I think.
It's the best intro ever. I'm telling you.
And I'm telling you that we need to update it too, because
it is getting updated. We're on it. We're gonna.
got my match with Ryan now. We got Zach's match with Hunter. We got a lot of stuff that's happening.
Because of my injury and everything, I haven't had a lot, but we can pull. I got some more matches though.
Yeah, for sure. And then our picture we got to update too. I was like 600 pounds in that picture.
You look young too. You look like you're 17. Yeah. So anyway, we got special guest Jody Williams. Thank you, sir, for coming on tonight.
Yes, thank you, Jody.
Thanks for having me on again. Love the show. What's up, everybody?
We're just getting into it here. We got some guys already. We
got Roger Shipton. Who's that guy? We got Clifton Erickson. Who's that guy? We got Michael Seabrook. We know who that guy is. And then the Drew. Drew.
Always good to have the Drew in there. He's a good moderator.
I tell you what, I know what I want to talk about.
Get to it.
Check it out, man. There's this league out there, and I caught this last week, right? It was the last week before last, and I'm scrolling Facebook, and I see these posts, and I see BLM. Hey, I want to thank I forgot the acronym of the league, and then I saw John Therian. Yeah, I want to thank this league for drafting me. I'm thinking, what is this?
Oh, and tough. TAWF.
Yes, and I saw the link, and so I clicked on it. So I'm up there like, well, what's this all about? And I didn't know. I was like going, are you serious? So the Table Monkeys, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking going, there's teams in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. That's the Canada 4. Yeah. And then they had a US 4, which was Las Vegas, Long Island, Detroit, and Tampa. And I'm like going, hold the phone for a second. This looks pretty badass. I like this. I'm thinking, man, what is going on over here? How come, man, can you guys enlighten me in the chat about this league?
I can tell you a lot about it. So you gotta. So one thing is like if you want to get on the team and get your name on there, you have to. Unfortunately, you have to pull both arms. They want guys pulling both arms. You don't have to necessarily pull both arms, but you just
have to be willing.
You got to be willing. Yeah, like if you're a left-hand specialist, Jody, like you kind of are, they would try to put you in when it's needed, like as a left-hander. You know what I mean? But there'll be times where everyone's done. It's got down to the wire, and guess what? You got to put your right arm on the table. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's going to be like that. That's one thing I know. I just got told recently.
Gotcha.
But I mean, if you're near a team, just reach out to the team captain, which there is a list of team captains, and just let them know you're interested. And that's
one other thing. Sorry, Brian, I'm going to cut you off quick before you go too far. Is you have to be willing to travel.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be a big thing that I think we noticed with this team right off the bat. Is assembling a team's okay, but you're going to look at these regions and go, okay, well, I know this guy's really good. Like, why isn't he on the team? Mm-hmm. Odds are it's because he doesn't want to travel and stuff.
Or he can't make the time.
Yeah. And so that's one thing I would say keep in mind with this league, because I think what they're doing right now is running a proof of concept and stuff. And then as that rolls out more and they can actually maybe pay some people, that's when you'll see the cream of the crop people kind of coming into this TAWF league. It's called TOUGH is their acronym for it. But
well, what I saw was that when you get drafted, there's also reserves too, because the thing is, let's just say
the reserves. So how it is, there's going to be 3 per weight class, and the third guy is the reserve.
Okay. So like, let's just say, you guys got a match coming up with, Toronto, and one of your starters for the sake of conversation, hey man, I got to work. I can't get out of it. Then that reserve will step in. Yes. Is that how that works?
I would think so. But they don't want that. They want to make it so the main guys can make everything, right? But I mean, yes, in an emergency situation, that would definitely happen. But then they would recruit another reserve because they want 3 to be there just in case, right? And there'll be times where a reservist could actually get in on the action as well during the event too. So you'll have your mains, but there's you could blow your arm up and get hurt. Well, then there's going to be something where they can bring in, okay, our reserve, our third is coming in. You know what I mean? And he would replace you during the event. Yeah, that's how Sean explained it to me.
We need to get Jason Constantini on here to talk about it.
Yeah,
he's the guy to ask.
Yeah,
that right there, because like Dakota said, you got to be able to travel, and I think in doing so, it's just going to benefit the team. It's going to benefit the athlete, because I've always said, good Lord, I can't tell you how many times I've said this over time and time. Like, you don't know how good you really are until you are out of your element, right? Like, come out of your region, your zip code, province, state, wherever the fuck, come out of there and take your talent and see, can I do this elsewhere where you don't have those familiar names, you don't have those familiar faces, and see, all this training I've been doing over here, does it make sense? It doesn't apply when I go over there. Does that make sense?
And that's fun though. That's the thing, because when you pull the same 6 guys every tournament, and then all of a sudden, like for me, the tournament I always use is Texas, because I had a really good turnout of my class. There was like 32 guys in my class. I ended up losing round 1, and then I literally pulled B-side like back to back to back, worked my way all the way back up to 5th place, and then it was just like, okay, like, that was so much fun. No clue what these people were gonna do when I gripped up with them. You grip up, it's a whole new feel. It's like, oh, and then you'll notice too, when you go to certain regions, they all have certain ways they pull. Prime example, the Montana area, because I've been down there pulled lots. They love their deep hook.
Yeah,
there's a few outliers who top roll, but then you'll go to like certain areas and stuff. It's like Canada is a lot more top roll based. You have some people who hook, but for the most part, you pull like high hook or top roll. The more you get to Devon's area, the more you pull top rollers.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know here in the States, like, and we'll just use like the West Coast, like California, there's a good chance you're going to run a bunch of top rolls. You might sprinkle a few hooks here and there, but it's going to be, top roll heavy. Midwest is kind of like that. Where you really start going to the inside hook is when you start going to the South.
Yeah.
When you start going to that deep South area region, then you're going to start seeing more of that inside hook. You travel up to the Northeast. A lot of people like they go inside hip too. So I did notice that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I do, I do notice that. And I didn't know if that was a thing. Like, if I step across this county line or this state line, does that mean like, oh, okay, well, you're gonna be putting a bunch of high hookers now? I'm thinking, and that whole dynamic changes. You know what I mean?
Sorry, guys, that was Sean Crowther for me.
No, you're good. Michael Seabrook said a lot of elites in Alberta pull hook press. I think they do, but I would also say that like most people in Alberta that you see hook pressing are not hand dominant. Like, you look at any of the guys who are not hook pressing in Alberta and they're top rolling you, it's because they're hand dominant, right? And I think that hook press just comes with the fact of having to counter that top roll when you can't match an elite level hand. Because really, we have a lot of good guys with a lot of good hands here.
There's a lot of good hands.
If you can't catch them in the hand department, the only way to beat them is to get that hook press going on, so you can negate that hand without taking it.
Well, one thing I noticed is one of the guys is Mason DeRossi, but like when he was injured and pulling at nationals, he was able to top roll still, and he got second place, right? So some of those hook press guys can top roll. That's just not their ace, right? So they like you said, they'll resort to just flying in and just hook pressing people.
Well, and, like, Mason's a good example, like you said, because like he'll go to like IFA Worlds or something, and he'll podium or he'll win, and he'll win with that hook press, and maybe his top roll is not IFA World level, but when he gets to a national level and that elbow's sore and he doesn't want to do that, he still has a top roll that's good enough to get him at the Canadian level.
Yeah,
And
you still
so
got second with it. Yeah,
I would say you could even talk about Matt like that, right? Because
yeah,
Matt's top low hand top roll is elite, elite, elite. But that doesn't mean his hook isn't good. His
mhm,
hook's still world level. It's just when you're pulling guys with an elite level hook, you need an elite counter or the strength to match it. And Matt's hook just isn't as good as his low hand. And I think anyone would agree with me on that. So
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Matt said the other day on his pod with Dexter, he said that I started out as a hooker. He said, and he said he just eventually developed that low hand top roll, but everyone said he should be hooking in the beginning because that's all he did. So
yeah,
And it's kind of funny how we start when we get into the sport, we start a certain way, and then over time you kind of go, you adopt this one. Like, here,
yeah.
I'll tell you something about me. Not a secret, whatever, but when I top roll, I do not pronate. I just don't. My body function. I mean, when I go to this as far as my wrist, this as far as it goes.
Mhm.
You know, this
Yeah.
as far as that goes. Doesn't
Yeah.
go any further.
I'm
So
no different. I don't have like lots of flexion. I just don't have
right.
it. Yeah. I'm
I
the
don't
same.
have that. So, but the thing is, though, if somebody puts me into a hook, then I'm fine. I can do this. I just can't do that. That's
Mhm.
far as I can go. But if I go this way, when my knuckles are facing me, then I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And
Yeah,
it's
so
weird like
you're
that.
more likely to supinate to get the hand than actually pronate over.
Well, the pronate's more for me. It's not even a pronate, but for me, when I top roll, it's more of a
Cup,
posting high side pressure top roll. So it's
yeah,
almost like
up
this,
high and then cupping over like this.
right? So,
Yeah,
but when I cup though, I don't cup
no, it's
that
not
much.
deep. It's not deep. It's just where
Right.
you got your wrists. Yeah, I get it.
It's just my body flexion doesn't have that. That's
Mhm.
yeah.
just it is what it is.
No, I'm
Well,
the
and
same way.
I think Clifton brings up a good point in the chat. He says, I started as a top roller, never hooked ever. 5 years in, I headed to South Dakota States. Didn't want to stop training, so started hooking. I think injuries are, you see a lot of people route certain ways due to injuries. I think we can even use Devin as an example. Devin
Okay.
was high hook. You watch his old videos, he would jump in there and like just hold and test his frame all the time. And then
Yeah.
after his surgery and everything kind of changed, he was feeling
2011.
better, but he started going outside, and then he realized he liked outside, and now he's a full on, top roll kings mover. There's a lot of people like that. And even my example was like, just when I first started arm wrestling when I was like 11, 12, 13, I would top roll just because I wasn't very strong. And then after I stopped arm wrestling for a bit and came back into like 18, 19, just from training in the gym, basic body strength all those years, I felt more comfortable to hook because when you train in a gym and you train your general gym lifts, you're closer to a hook than you are a top roll. When you're doing your curls, your things like that, you're developing maybe not exactly, but more hook based than top roll because top roll's so foreign to people who don't arm wrestle. No one rises, no one pronates, no one. You might hammer curl or lat drag, but you don't really back pressure in the same way that they do.
That's probably 90% of arm wrestlers. You remember when I started, all I could do was hook. That was it. I just hooked. And
Isn't that
then
everybody though? You just kind of go inside
that's
or
just
go side.
natural.
That's
It
what
was
you
just a
do.
natural thing, right?
But
But then the second I discovered my hand and I, discovered back pressure, I quickly turned to a hand guy like real quick, real quick.
well, it's funny. Like I got into it. See, I came on the opposite end where I was taught the top roll first.
Oh,
So, and it's weird because the guy that got me in the sport, God rest his soul, and he taught us how to top roll, and he swore up and down. He swore up and down that, oh yeah, a top roll beats a hook any day. I'm thinking, oh well, hell, I just went ahead and just let's do that then.
low
Top roll,
hand.
top roll, top roll, and then I go to the 2012 Unified Nationals up in Tahoe. I'm sorry, Reno, Nevada, and I get into this match. I'm thinking I'm just going to top roll everybody, whatever. And the guy like took a lower grip on me, grip, and just like turned me in. He shut down my pronator, so I went to go hit, and I went like
Nothing.
this, and all of a sudden my hand turned like that. My body's already shooting that way. I'm thinking, and he
What's going
pulled
on?
me over. I'm thinking, dude, why'd you lie to me? You said a top roll beats a hook any day, but that right there made me go, okay, I need a secondary move.
Yep.
I need to get either my
A low hand top roll will beat a hook most times, but a high knuckle posting top roll is actually very deceptive to a strong hooker. Right, the low
What's that
hand's
video
different.
that Dakota had? Paper, rock, scissors. Good job,
Yeah,
Dakota.
I was
yeah,
gonna say
exactly.
it's right. It's the rock paper scissors of arm
I agree.
wrestling. And if you just got rock, you're gonna beat scissors every time. But when that paper comes around, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But no, it's
You
actually
want to know a
funny you
secret?
brought. Oh,
Here's a secret. If you ever do that game, rock, paper, scissors, every single time the first one that does it, it's always scissors. Guarantee you. You think about it. Think about it. If you ever go
no,
ready,
it's
they always go scissors first.
yeah,
Just saying.
that's funny.
that's a good question. That's a good way of putting it. Eh? You said it at you, Dakota.
Yeah,
Another way, yeah. Just because if you know how you got the gym guys that do 80% gym, 20% table, and then you got the guys that do 80% table, 20% gym. Yeah, would you be the same puller if you swapped your training?
oh, I wouldn't because
Yeah.
I mean now I would, but if I didn't have the club that I had and I started arm wrestling training, I I wouldn't be as technical as I am. I might still be a top roller, but I'd be a way worse one in my opinion. Because I think that a lot of your strength is built in table time. I don't know. Your strength is built both, but I think that a lot of your technique and refinement really comes in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wallet is susceptible to a strong hooker.
Okay, Stallone.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. So here, how about this? We can use a bunch of theories, right? We can go, here's this side of the fence, right? So this side of the fence is table time. We're talking John Brazine. We're talking Devin Laird. They're all table time.
But
And
even
what
John
they
did some. He kind of is not truthful. I've watched so many videos of John doing pulley work, and he has this one handle that he like to use all the time. He mainly did table time, but he did incorporate some pulleys and handles.
Oh, I'm not saying he didn't at all, but when I
Yeah,
get to this side, you'll understand why I said that.
Okay.
I have him over here. So you got John, more table time than you got Devin. On this side, you got Michael, you got Toddzilla, and they're all about the weights. So you got to find, and then you got the in between, like Travis, who just he'll tell you himself he's probably one of the laziest people out there. He does enough to get through. So you got this side of the fence, you got that side that is the fence, and then you got the other side of the fence. And so how can you sit there and say those five guys I just mentioned, some way, somehow they made it. So I guess at the end of the day,
you got a point. Yeah, you got a point there, but think about Devin and Michael Monster Todd. How many times have they done 100% 180s? Like I've seen Michael Todd go, you know what? I'm going for 100 medals this year. I'm going to travel in my RV, and I'm not really going to work out. I'm just going to arm wrestle every weekend. And then he got injured. But what about Devin? He was all weights at one time, but then said, no, now I'm going to go all table. And then he goes back. Wait, you know what I mean? I've seen like those two, especially Michael Monster Todd and Devin. I've seen them do 180s on their training many times.
Yeah, I think it's funny you guys brought this up because actually, like another topic that I want to cover on my channel is just called the evolution of arm wrestling training. And I think what you see in general with a lot of people is the reason you see the Monster Michael Todds and you see the Devon switching things up is because you're just following and dialing in specifically on their journey. Like if you watch Devon's journey, it will not be the same as anyone else's journey. And what I tell people all the time is I think you should watch how Devon trains. I think you should watch how Michael Todd. I think you should watch how everybody trains, and you should gather your own consensus from it. It's the same as when you're reading a million articles online. You don't listen to any one article. You gather your own opinion on the articles, and then you go from there. So you look at how Devin did it. He started off, and here's what I tell people too: you can't jump into the sport and become a King's mover. If you look at how Devin started and where he is at now, like these people are 6 months in, and Devin's their favorite arm wrestler, and they're trying to do what he's doing with 30 years experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, if you're a year in, go watch. If there was footage of it, go watch where Devin was at a year in, or go watch a arm wrestler that you enjoy where you can see them pull it a year in, and you'll see they're not training anything like that because they haven't built themselves up to that point yet.
Yeah.
You know why? And then look, we'll use Michael too. You go look at the old archives, the old school Arm Wars. Michael Tyler's a shoulder presser.
Yep, all the time.
When he busted his arm is where he had to do that. And how many times have we gone to moves based on injury? But I tell you what, Dakota, I give you an idea.
It was a Wagner. Yeah.
I'll give you an idea, Dakota. How about this? One of your shows, you should bring up the evolution of styles.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time in the early 80s, a top roll was frowned upon.
Yep.
Okay. So now we all accept top rolls. Yeah. It was like, oh, why you running that kind of stuff? So everybody was all raw, hook, donut pad, rah, that kind of stuff. You slip, you're a punk, you get into a power hook, no strap needed. And we evolve, right? So then, okay, now we got top roll. Now you got two main. Okay, now we got a press. So this is the way I see it. And tell me, and everybody in the chat, feel free to respond. You guys respond too. There's 3 basic moves in the sport. There was a 4th one. I'll tell you that in a second. The 3 basic moves. You got a hook, top roll, and a press. But then you got moves that branch off of that, right?
Yeah.
Now,
high hook, low hand.
Right.
Flop.
And now you got the, defensive hook, high hook, fish hook, whatever, Then the 4th style is now the strap. That's become a style now, whether it be because somebody has a weak wrist and they can hide that flaw. Because when you get to the strap, you don't have to worry about the hand as much. Now you can just focus on the angle. You don't have to squeeze down. You can just sit there and go, I can beat somebody just going like that and not use my fingers. Well, guess what? Now that hides the fact that if you have a weak wrist, you will never know. So there's that aspect, or the fact that, some people are just better in it, because now. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think it's interesting that you say that because I've never quite think of that, never quite thought of that perspective. But in a way, you're right because like someone's hook in the straps or someone's top roll in the straps is completely different than their top roll outside of straps. And the reason I completely agree with you is because like my dad is a really good example of this. He's getting better at using the strap, but we pull outside of straps and it's close. And if I get in the strap with him and get what I want, I can take all his power. And he's like, you feel so much stronger. And a way that I should explain that to him is, well, I'm not that much stronger, but I'm in a better technical position right now because I'm using the 4th technique, as you would put it, I guess. I'm in the straps using my top roll. I almost think you could look at it differently than what you do. This makes more sense in my head. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but I think hook and top roll are the 2 main because I think a press can come from a hook and I think a king's move can come from a top roll. And it's like that kind of that spectrum that Devin shows sometimes. But then you can have that, but you can also have like a branch off where it's like that, but in the straps. Because you can't really king's move, or flop press purely out of straps unless someone's holding on. So when you you have like an out of strap with the 2 main moves that can have some branches, but then when you go into straps, it's like another like skill tree for all like the nerds out there where you have a bigger skill tree in the straps.
The whole tree opens up. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I give you and I like that too. Here's an example. So like, and we'll use 2 matches where you take the Hermes Levon match, the first one, right? Where, Hermes sat there and posted back and then decided to go on a flop and made Levon sweat, right? So when you think that, and we see, Hermes doing that, Levon is struggling. He got the win, but he was struggling. And now everybody's thinking, oh, if he pulls Jerry's going to kill him. Well, here's a problem with that, with this theory. And I'm not, and like I said, when I say this stuff, I'm not like sandbagging the other athlete.
He disabled Jerry. Yeah.
Well, the problem is Jerry goes straight to it, which means he ain't got no back pressure. So Levon he doesn't get enough credit for being table savvy as he does. So Levon goes, you know what? I'm just going to grab you low. So that way, when you go like this, you go right into my hand.
Yeah, and he just drags him down. Yeah. Boom.
Whereas with Hermes part 1, he actually went like this.
And he did one more thing. Because if he would have done a traditional top roll, he would have went right into Jerry's lane. What Hermes did was he high posted and then added this cup. And then he, instead of just putting Jerry like this, it put Jerry palm up.
Yeah.
That was the key. Just that cup he added to his top roll. Yeah.
And what Dakota was saying earlier, a few moments ago, with that strap. Now, I'll say this, though. It's because I like to be a hand-dominant puller, right?
Me too.
Are you, Dakota, hand-dominant?
Yeah, he is. He
definitely. Right. So We want that. And it's kind of hard because, like, okay, how often do we got the three of us and everybody in the chat? How often do we go to a tournament and your opponent goes, hey, you want to go to the strap? I'm like going, fuck. Because it's like, okay, you want to go to the strap. If you say no, you got to earn it. I'm old school. You got to earn that strap.
I'm the same way, actually. I get offered it and I like it. But you still got to get it on me.
Right.
And I don't like giving people what they want.
No.
If you want the strap, I'm going to go, get it.
No, I will. If I feel what I feel in the setup, I can tell. And if they say, do you want to just go to the strap? And if I feel that, yes. Yeah, sure.
I don't. I'm stubborn.
When they say that, they're going to position themselves where they get the professional slip, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a counter for that. This is the thing about this sport. There's a counter move for everything. You know what my counter is to that? When someone asks me, hey, want to go to strap? I'm like, yeah, you want to go into a rest grip?
That's true.
Because then they can't load back and go like that. They can't, because the way our weapons are, the way the rest are going to sit there and do this.
Yeah, ref grip's a whole different battle.
You know what pisses me off? And I'm a ref too. I'm a certified ref. What I hate is bad intentional slip calls. Because listen, you know how many times I've seen it where the two guys have climbed, where it's just now, it's like they're not even attached anymore. Well, guess what? It's not an intentional slip if I just try, if he wants to hold on and I just try to pin him, that's not an intentional slip. But they're saying because I've lost all the finger pressure or whatever, that I've been called on intentional slips when really all I could do was to try to drive to the pad. And I've seen it so many times. Refs say, "Nope, it was intentional slip." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. He was holding on to just my thumb at this point, and I was so high. All I could really do is hope he holds on and drive for the pad." You know what I mean? Because they say they watch the finger pressure and the color of your fingers. You should hear this shit I hear from the refs. But it pisses me off anyway.
Brian, I got to cut you off there. I got to go eat and stuff. Had a long day at work and I'm done now. I know it's short and I could sit here and chat with you guys all day. But I do want to, I saw Clifton say that he hates straps and has been pulling in it more recently. I will say, unless you are ridiculously stronger than someone, I think the straps will always favor the table time leaning person. And I think that's why Clifton or like someone like my dad, like they pull, but they're not on the table a ton. Like Clifton's more weight based. You can do what you can to emulate the strap on a table, but you're never gonna emulate the strap like you would pulling someone in the strap. It's just the way it is, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so again, that goes to show, Clifton, if you were more training based or more table time based, would you be a different puller? I would argue everyone would be, because they pull in the strap more. They'd probably like the strap more, things like that. Everyone would change.
Well, if he's going to be competing at MAC, he better learn how to strap, because as soon as you slip, you're in the strap.
He likes it, but he's got to, But anyways, guys, it was nice chatting with you. I got to cut it out here, but I'll be on tomorrow. I got more time. I just saw there's a practice in Red Deer, so I'll probably be driving down to Red Deer tomorrow while I'm on.
I'm down in Red Deer tomorrow golfing with Matt and Sean, but I don't. I probably have to get back for the pod, so I probably won't.
Oh, Brian, just go on your phone.
Maybe
bring a laptop or something.
We'll see how wiped I get off.
We could just go live at practice tomorrow, a late show. Just have a camera going.
It's possible.
Anyways, guys, you have a good night. Jody, it was great having you on, man. We got to meet up soon one time, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm coming. I'm coming to. Are you going to that October 4th in Winnipeg?
Yeah, they have an.
I got to see what my schedule's like. There's so much going on.
If I wasn't ripped up, I would, but I can't pull.
But you guys have a good night. Like and subscribe to everyone watching. Thank you, and everyone have a good night. See you guys,
here, man.
Yeah. No. October 4th, that would be cool. But I get PRP injections on September 25th, and 4 to 6 weeks after that, I'll be back to full table training.
Nice.
Yeah,
I want to just more based on the strap thing. I know, Clifton. I mean, if you go by, the Cobra Rhodes theory, I am the strap. Don't let your opponent,
exploding hand technique, but not everybody's got his skill that way and that's
right. And so you got to mess around with different aspects of different styles to say, okay, this works for me. As much as I love to see, I try to mimic Cobra Rhodes, I try to mimic John Brzezinski, and I just don't have the finger length like Cobra does. I don't have the
that's why the straps are amazing. That's why the straps are amazing, because if you have a smaller hand or you don't have the coverage on the back of the other guy's hand, once you get in the strap, it's not about that anymore, right? It's not about that at all.
It's that connection.
It's that connection. You want to feel. Yes. You want to feel the. So I always tell people. So a lot of guys don't get it. Like RVJ, he's a bad one, but I won't hit him. I won't hit him hard because I've been hard on him lately. But I tell guys in practice, I'm like, okay, you know how you top roll? And I'm like, you know, most of the time when you're at a straps, you're top rolling through your thumb and these fingers. Once you get in the strap, it's all about the bind. You want to feel that strap connection you want to feel that strap on his wrist, right? Yes. And when you're top rolling, you're now pulling from the bottom. You're pulling on the bottom part of your hand because you need to feel that connection. So when you go in the strap, don't try to top roll like you would if you weren't in the strap, because you're probably going to get dragged back. You're going to lose your hand, right? Because you're not going to have that bind and connection on the strap.
When you're doing this, then with the strap here, your opposed hand does that. Arm wrestling, you know,
it's whoever has the stronger back pressure. Yeah.
If you start like this, the minute your hand does this, that's all that matters. From here to there, that's a big difference.
Well, Bob Brown says it best too. So Bob Brown says there's a lot of guys out there that you think that because they're always top rolling everybody in the strap and they're getting everything. He says, oh, you think that their wrist is good, but at a strap, you see their hand goes back so easy. It's because if you have a lot of back pressure, your hand and wrist could be weaker than your opponent. But if your back pressure is stronger, you're naturally going to get their hand because your back pressure is greater than theirs. So once you're able to grab them and pull them to your side of the table, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have their hand and you can take them for a ride. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. So and we'll talk about this, like in the strap. So we're getting the strap on, and all of a sudden, you know, they're fighting up top. They're burying my thumb knuckle. I'm like, dude, can I see my thumb knuckle? Then sometimes they get so frustrated. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Take what you want. I'll take a lower grip. Because now we're in the strap, so you can't escape. Where some people out of the strap, they'll sit there, they'll drag back and top roll to get out of my hand. Where once we're in the strap, you can't escape. That's when, okay, fine, you want to climb up there and bury my knuckle. Okay, guess what? I'm gonna take a lower grip, and that's when these 3 fingers come into play. Because now I'm gonna clamp down hard, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply down pressure. So if you try to take me that way, I'm just gonna knife you down like that.
See, and you just brought up a huge point. You just brought up a huge point I made on the last podcast. I said everybody talks about what's first, rise, cup, or is it pronation? And I always say, well, what about the fourth one? And they're like, fourth one? I'm like, well, you got cup, you got rise, you got pronation. What's the other one? Ulnar deviation. Well, ulnar deviation, I train my ulnar deviation just as much as I do because my top roll technique is a low hand top roll technique where I actually rely on the chop, because when I chop down, it brings my wrist up and it allows me to come up over top and just, you know what I mean, put you away. It's usually down pressure that I expose people's hands with is the ulnar chop, right? So why doesn't you never?
You know, I'll get like you know those plated dumbbells, you know, where you can slap on the plate, you know. I'll load one side, use it as a handle, and I'll sit there and I'll stand and just sit there and just do this right here. This movement.
One I do, and I'll even do it on the podcast. I put a 2-inch handle on it, and I just sit here. And I just and I do it all night long, and I just go like this. And it's something I do every night, like hundreds and hundreds of reps. Yeah. And I tell you, John Brzezinski, you know, John Brzezinski's classic can opener and every, you know, John, his whole style, believe it or not, John, it's this. That is what, it's the down pressure. But you know what? Only in higher circles do you ever hear of the ulnar deviation being very important. Because if you watch anybody hits YouTube, what's important, and it's going to be rise, it's going to be cup, rise, pronation. You're not going to hear ulnar deviation. But I think it's just as important, because even when you're in a match and it's kind of even, you need the ability to be able to control low and high. You know what I mean? Like, you need it all.
You have to try things that you know what works for you. Because I can sit there and do everything Devin does to a T, everything Michael or Brzezinski or whoever. I can do everything to a T, but guess what? That doesn't mean I'm gonna be like them.
No. But
Right?
what if we grip up? What if we grip up and I'm trying to go high knuckle over top and you're just too strong. And then I'm trying to supinate, and you're blocking me. Well, what if I feel the hole is the ulnar chop and I feel now I got control of your hand. You're just like dead in my hand.
But that's a field tactic. You have to feel that though.
Yes.
If you don't feel
but how many times does that happen? It happens though. Have you ever just hit where both you guys are in the middle and then you're kind of testing, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, there's a lane. Yeah, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, and then when you like my teammates and love him to death, and he does the same thing over and over to the where I can't catch that anymore out of the strap. We're in the strap, he's still strong. It's like, okay, and then I'm thinking, oh yeah, go ahead, get in there and just drive in like that and eliminates all that shit.
And now he's weak to that, right? Yeah, you're like, oh,
right.
Okay,
so now he's like, side pressure machine, rah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
well, even back pressure. When you're using back pressure, people always think rise with back pressure, like rise. You know what I mean? Get high with your back pressure. Why not just lat drag ulnar chop? Boom, there you go. Boom, it's over. I don't know how many times I've just lat dragged.
Oh, there's so many styles we can learn, and I'm glad everybody's watching the show because y'all can learn some shit tonight. But there's so here's one that I'm sure you guys have seen with Travis, right? Here's this. Travis goes, "Why would you set up like this?" He says, "That's the dumbest thing ever. Look how far you are." Because he goes, it's in one of his videos. He says, "You go like this, like normal, okay?" He can go like this. Your hands coming down. You slide your elbow forward. Like that,
you can't because the all the pressure goes in through your arm to your elbow into the pad, and it will negate 80% of the other guy's strength.
Yeah, so that works. Now the other stuff I can't do because
it does.
I'm not 6'4", so that's not going to work for me. I'm 5'11", so I have to get on my tippy toes to do some of the stuff he does. Oh yeah, slide your elbow forward and then rise over like that. I'm like, bro, I'm like 5'11", like I can't do that. So I understand this portion of it.
I set up that way. I set up. I go center my body, and I try to get this straight up. Even if I'm going low, I still do it because you know why? I know the refs. I know the refs are going to be adjusting it anyway, so I might as well see what I can get away with right away. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to get somebody who's like posting high like that, then I'm kind of going, okay. Well, guess what? I'm not going to fight up top. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So sometimes. This is always good to have more than just your ace in the hole. Everybody has their go-to move, right? Did I ever tell you about my theory on super matches? Have I ever told you that?
Well, probably, but I don't remember.
Okay, so everybody in the chat, peep this, and please feel free to comment. Y'all, you baseball, baseball, right?
Yeah.
The pitcher, okay, their go-to is probably their fastball, right? Okay, cool. So in a super match, mainly 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, your round one match is going to be your ace, right? Your fastball. Let's just say you and I got a super match coming up, and we're on the table. I'm going for my best move right off the bat because I want to make sure I'm confident in it. I want to be up 1-0 in the series. So if I give you my fastball and you stop that, it's like, oh, crap. So basically, if the pitcher throws a fastball and someone hits a home run,
you got to have a changeup or a knuckleball or something. Yeah.
Right. You better have a curveball, a changeup, a slider, because if you don't, you're done. Yeah. Which means, fine. I better come up with something different. Yeah. The point I was getting to is that if somebody is going like this, why would I want to attack up here? That's
grab
stupid.
Lower.
I'm just going to grab lower. I'm going to come chop you down if I can. Because then guess what? I'm going to sit up like this, and I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to just drive my shoulder down. I have a better chance of slowing that hit, if anything. I just want to slow it down. Then, once the match stops and we can kind of figure stuff out as we go. But there's no point in me attacking that up there. That doesn't make any sense.
No, because you've lost the height battle, right? So you're like, why even try? I'm not winning this battle. I'm going to, and you know what? A good puller, I've had it, especially because I'm still green. Like I know I sound sometimes like I know a lot. I do kind of know a lot because I spend my whole life thinking about arm wrestling. But I mean, like I'm still early in my journey. And when I first started, I remember going to the table and being like, oh, I got everything. This is over. And then all of a sudden we regrip or something happens and we go back to the table and everything's different. Buddy's just changed everything. And I'm like, whoa, I don't feel comfortable. What's going on? What did you just do? Like, fuck, what's going on here? I'm not feeling like I did a minute ago. And all of a sudden, wham, I'm just like pinned. And I'll be like, what the fuck happened? I felt I had everything. But he's been pulling for 10 years. And he's like, oh.
Yeah. And then you always get that guy that want to clamp, like they want to vice grip your hand on the setup.
Oh, yeah, I love that now. I didn't used to, but now I love it. Yeah.
I will fucking loose grip the hell out of that. I'm like, oh, go ahead. Yeah. Squeeze all you want to, because guess what? Now, here, I'll give you one more. Do I have one of my things here? Hold on for a second. I may have it. I probably don't. But
no, you tell me why, and I'll tell you too, because exactly. I got an experience with that too.
So here, if anybody had a gripper, right?
Yep.
It can be a light hand gripper, and when you squeeze it to make the two handles touch, your wrist ends up like this, right? It goes like that. It's harder to flex this way.
Yeah, because it automatically wants to open your hand. Yeah.
But as soon as you loosen your hand, you're faster to do this. Does that make sense? Like if I got my hand loosey goosey, watch how fast I can cup. Bam, bam. Yeah. But as soon as I make a fist, it's a little slower.
It's way more slower. It's way more effort even.
Right. So by contrast, there's no point in me of grasping my opponent and put a vice grip on, unless I know I'm going straight side pressure and that's it. If I got Todzilla side pressure and I clamp down, good luck trying to get out of it, because once you clamp down, you're only minimal to certain moves. Like you're gonna clamp down, no one's gonna hook you. If you're gonna clamp down, they're not gonna pronate. They're either gonna go straight side pressure, or they may get their shoulder involved and come like this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But if you loose grip, you have other options.
They don't know shit. They don't know shit. And not only that, if you loose grip, and I always tell like something I just need to move that. I put the comments up, but sometimes they block it. I'm like, I don't want that there. But anyway, if you lose grip, you can also, when you make this pocket, right? Anybody that's not starting pronated and creating a pocket, you're missing out. Like if you just go flat hands and you're just starting, you're just asking to be ripped like this. You want to try to start, and if you can, what I do is I go like this really hard, and then I put my arm down, and it looks like exaggerated when I'm like this, right? But now watch. Put my arm down, right? Yeah. That's
how you lock your pronator.
I'm still like this, right?
Now, that works for somebody, if you know somebody's a bona fide hooker. They want to go inside like that. I will lock my pronator like this, because now it's harder for them to get around my hand. The problem is when you go against a top roller and I lock my pronator, now I might be over pronating.
Yeah.
Because then I'll end up doing this, and now I'm like, well, crap, now I can't go anywhere. So, I mean, that's a double-edged sword, because I've been in situations where I will over pronate to where now my fingers are facing you, and now they're climbing up and they're doing this. I think that's the reason why all this arthritis started on my right hand wrist, because there were so many times I would overpronate that all of a sudden my fingers are facing them, and then they climb up here and then just want to torque that. And me not wanting to lose, I want to slide the elbow forward with up pressure, going, no, you're not going to pin me. You're going to have to earn this, or we're going to slip.
You can, you know what though? You're right. And I find out of straps, if you can get away when they strap you up, when you're getting your grip, if you can get away with pronating fully in the strap though, I'm telling you, there's not really a negative, because you're not my pronator. You're not, now it's going to be unless you're you're just crazy. You're not going to get me palm up. You might get me. You might be able to get me back a bit, but I'm still going to be able to go flying sideways no matter what. So if I get away with that in the strap where my pronation's active already, I feel very calm. Unless you're the sky level ahead of me, yeah. But I know what you mean, and what's cool, Jody, is really it's like martial arts. Arm wrestling is so intricate, and there's so much more to it than people realize. Like I always hear, hook, press, top roll. No, it's not. It's like there's variations of top roll. There's probably at least 30 or more. I bet there's even more variations. I've felt so many different hooks, so many different presses, so many different top rolls. I felt, I don't know. I think that it's actually, it's like almost like a martial art. I really do. I think.
Well, like I said earlier in the show, my top roll, I don't pronate. It's just my wrist that function doesn't work. I can do all the pronating lifts, all that. It doesn't do it, right? So I got to do what's best
Do
for
what you
me.
gotta
So
do.
there's 2 different top rolls that I like doing. So one is the high pressure, side pressure top roll like this, where it's high, as back pressure and side at the same time. It's actually, I'm aiming opposite shoulders. So I'm like this, I'm aiming this way. My other one I like is what I like to call the rope-a-dope, right? The rope-a-dope is the backward C. So if you and I are pulling like this, right, I will give up side pressure in order to gain this. So I will, it's like,
low hands.
I'll start here. And as soon as it go, I will give this up. Because once I give this up, it's like, bam. Now I'm at the pivot point. I got this. Now I can go ahead and finish that way. And now I created my backward C.
That's weird how you said that. Because, when I first started, remember I told you I was just hooking? Well, Sean Crowther, he's a friend, a personal best, like one of my best friends, but he's also a teammate. Well, he showed me, he goes, Brian, what are you doing? I thought I knew how to top roll. I was just like, you know what I mean? He goes, your top roll's crap. So there's this thing he said, he called it the moon, right? A half moon or whatever. So I would start at the corner and I would give something away, but as I'm coming around, now it's coming active and now it's a pin. It's like going right around. You know what I mean? So that was how.
Because if my first move is here, because my first move is like negative. So they're thinking, oh, I got this guy. But see, when I'm going negative, if I slow it down, it's this. Yes, Drew, I got to get that. Matter of fact, Drew, why don't you message me after the show? Facebook message me, and we can,
I take it too. I take it too every day.
So again, you're here, and I'm up here. So if I'm like this, people think, okay, here's this fist by his chin. We might see a fucking flop rest. Here we go, and all of a sudden on the go, I will boom.
Yeah.
And already see that. That all you need is that much, right? Yeah. So I'm here now. I got options. Once I stop the match here, and look and see, I'm engaged, and I'm kind of high up here.
Yep.
So I'm engaged. So
the pad's taking some of that pressure for you. Yep.
Yes. So now it's here rather than there. You see what I'm saying? The difference between here
now
and
you're
there.
opened up. Yeah, now you're open.
Right. So I'm up here tight. They hit. Boom. Now I'm right there. Yeah. So what options do I have? I can, finish them off this way. I can drive that way. I can sit there or drive this way. So I got options.
That's really a high hook.
What's that?
High hook is basically that. Like just going just high, like because you're not doing a full motion right off the go with the C. You're actually catching and then deciding what to do. And see a high hook, that's what all it really does is it gets the hand control and then it allows you to go in, out, whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can do anything you want. That's the whole key to a high hook, is that you can do any offense out of a high hook once you've stopped the match with a high hook.
And that's weird because I've heard so many variations. I don't know what's what anymore. It all depends on what side of the.
I know everyone has different opinions on it, right? But I'll tell you another thing. You're doing a low hand motion with a high knuckle top roll, so that's kind of cool too. Because with a low hand's the same thing. You want to give act like you're giving something. So especially against a hooker, because a hooker's going to go like this right to the pad. So with the low hand, you're going to act like, and he's driving, he ends up giving you his hand, because with the low hand now, boom, you got him, right? Like you're giving it away and then you're coming around and then over, because he's going right sideways. Now he's losing his hand and then you're coming back around and you're pinning him. Yeah. It's a defensive top roll in a sense.
Yeah. So here's the funny part, Brian, because come December this year, I'll be starting my 16th year in the sport, right? So when we first get into the sport, there's always someone you emulate. Oh, I want to be like that guy, and then you realize you might not have the tools to do just like they do. Like Cobra Rose has the long fingers. I don't have that. Devin, when he cups, his fingers can touch his wrist. I don't have that. Jean Brzezinski, I don't have that massive, his thumb is this size of this energy drink right here. I don't have that. So I have to do what works for me.
Just the thumb.
Like some people got this thick thing. Yeah, they have that. I don't have none of that stuff. I could probably get it thicker, but I don't have that. So I have to do what's best for me. Like what is the best quick twitch? I played football.
You got quick twitch muscles. Yeah, I got
that quick twitch thing down. So that I do have going for me. I don't do it as much as practice because I'm not really learning anything. And I do so much catching defensive stuff, because that's what I'm testing my strength out, that sometimes that comes back to bite me in the ass during tournament time, because then it's like, Jody, you're fast. Why are you sleeping? I'm like, dude, I've been practicing with my teammates where I'm thinking, you go and I will try to catch you. That muscle memory for some way, don't know why, it winds up, on the tournament table, which I can't do, So
yeah,
I don't know. One of those deals,
I don't know. I think it's cool just to talk bro science, man, and just actually, it paints a picture of technique, and even for people listening that haven't like really understood some of the stuff we're talking about, it gives you an idea, right? Something to go to the table next practice, and just try out, right? Like I think actually these shows that we, all us arm wrestlers do, we need to spend this time talking table science. You know what I mean? Because I think this is what's really going to help everybody. Like I'm not on the table to show everyone, but I mean, if we can be descriptive like we are, and we can explain it, it's going to do a lot for everyone, right? So
I can tell you what I do and why I do it. I mean, I got no, and some people are kind of weird to where I don't want nobody seeing what I do. It's like, dude, if you're any good and you're on video, they're going to see whatever. It doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
So,
like what you,
my
you still have to know
it. Yeah, my top row, I don't pronate. It's more like this. So this is not pronate because look. So here it's just wham. That's my all the way to the pad. But guess what? I can keep this position. All I gotta do is move my hips, set up, tilt this way, now turn that way.
It's amazing when you just turn your body what things do, right? Just
hand never moved.
Yeah.
Hand never moved.
I know.
So when I go boom, I'm here. I mean, my arm moved, but look, I just pivot off my elbow. So then once again, I turn this way in my chair. Look at that.
Yep.
There's not pronating in that, right?
Nope.
That's all it is.
And that's another thing too I've noticed with a lot of new guys, which I'm trying to help everyone. And I love training people and teaching them, because Devin told me when I first started, I said because he talked to me and he goes, I said to him, I said, what's the major thing you would recommend to me to get better? Because I was still really, really new when I was on the table with Devin. Devin said, you know what, Brian? He goes, honestly, teach people. And I said, well, he goes, no, teach people what you do know is right. Teach people, what concept you have, because you'll get better and better, and you'll really, it will really enforce those, like your core principles that you have already, because you're teaching it, and it just re-embeds, you know what I mean? And it will make you better actually training people, because you don't want to steer people wrong. You want to teach them how to do it safe. You want, so you're going to be, you're really going to think about it when you're training somebody and teaching them on the table.
Oh, right? Hey, I got a flop press in my arsenal, but there's ways of doing it. I'm never going to flop rest outside the strap, because, if I'm here, then out the strap, they can climb. And once they climb, they can take you back over. So let's just say this guy's going to flop wrist. I'm going to stop this. So if I go to flop like this, right, and they climb up here, you see the problem already? Here's the problem. When I turn this way, look how much of all this is exposed.
Yeah, exposed.
See, that's exposed. That's a no good for a flop. Now, if we're in a strap and we're like that, and I go to flop, now look. See how that is covered now? Where they can't climb up because we're strapped. But if they're out of the strap, they can climb up, which means all this is exposed. That's no good,
No,
but
I agree.
A lot of it depends on how you flop. Well, again, using that baseball theory, when you swing a baseball bat, what are you doing? You're rotating your hips. You're rotating your shoulders, okay? Some people will go like that. Some people, straight to the side. I like to rotate. There's two ways you can do that. You can rotate where I'm grabbing a peg. I'm here, and I'll rotate. So now when I rotate my body, I'm on my tiptoes, and I'll rotate my hips and go this way, because now they got to go through my hand and my shoulder, right? Whereas Jerry comes at you.
Yeah, that's like, a different. That's a different thing. Well, because he is so strong tricep-wise too, and his bone stability in his elbow is like, it takes years to get that kind of tendons, man. So Jerry's like kind of the outlier of it, right? But technically, most of the time, you want to do it the way you're saying it, right? Jerry's don't go and flop like Jerry.
Rotate. If I rotate, it's just that, and then where you said I'll set up right here. But look, when I set up, you see where my fist is? It's not out here, it's here.
Yeah, it's here.
Once you get out here, you try to flop, then you're in no man's land in this area. But if I go here and I come in like that, then that's a little bit better.
I actually, I can't flop. My hand, that's as far as my hand goes back. Look, I can't go back more than that. Look, as hard as I can. It don't go back.
Like
my hand does not go back. So when I come over punching. So a lot of times I do what you're not supposed to do. So no one do this because I've also had an elbow injury, but I can't help it. It's the way I pull. I slam sideways and I'll bring my elbow forward and I'll tricep press and I'll just go straight down. Yeah, and that's how I press. It's called a side pressure press. And that's just what I've always done. Now it's dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend it or teach it to anybody. But it's also about elbow positioning too. You always got to remember on the table. This is another little thing about with anybody new out there. Use the elbow pad. So listen, have you ever, Jody? You've seen guys where they'll top roll and they'll get a guy here, and they can't get that end, and they're at the end. They're already moved. They ran out of pad. All they got to do is bring their elbow up, and then they can redrive again. We call it the buzz saw. Bring your elbow forward and then redrive, and then bring your elbow forward. And if you can, keep getting around until you're 100%. You're right in front of your arm too, because now you're just sitting on them at the end, right? But yeah, you always want to gain position by using the pad, bringing your elbow forward, so that creates room for you to drive again. Yeah. Just a little thing.
I think with new people, what they do, and I could be wrong,
they get planted in one spot. I know I used to
do it.
Yeah.
Well, they use that elbow as an anchor or like a pivot. But then when you go here, you can't finish. So it's kind of like, okay, and we all know, when we got into the sport, at least when I did back in late 2010, not all arm wrestling tables were the same. They were made differently too, though. So it's kind of like, okay, that made difference between a parallel pin and where you're close to the pad. One more tidbit about the flop wrist. For you flop wrist press guys, I think y'all gonna love this. There are times I use up pressure with my press. If you can imagine that for a second, right? So I'm here, right? And my opponent's bringing me this way. I will drive up pressure.
That's what I do.
Stop that. The up pressure is stopping him from hitting me that way. Because see, at this point, once I'm here, and again,
you're diverting their energy down into the pad.
It's almost like what did we talk about with Travis?
Yeah.
Right. What are we talking about? Right. So if I just do this and I'm doing this,
now they can't do anything. Now they're just they're basically just pushing straight down into the pad through your arm. Yeah.
Right.
They have to.
Right. So you apply up.
Yes.
You can swing me here, which is fine. But if I got my shoulder behind it,
so then what they need to do?
If I go like this, you can see how that goes like that. But the minute I get my shoulder behind it, your body's only going to go so far.
I actually have a really good record. I don't get beat by flop pressers usually. I actually punched. I do the same thing you're doing, but in defense of this flop press. Because a flop, when they're setting up, especially when they're going to flop press you, like hit flop press you, here they're not going to be that strong. But if they're quick and they get you here, now they got a lot of strength. They got their body weight. They got all that strength. You want to stop a flop presser dead center because that's where they're weakest, because now they're just got this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I punch straight up and I get it and I hold it. And they're like, and I hold it. And then I just drag them out around their shoulder and then I pin them. That's how I've always pulled flop pressers. And I'm telling you, it works really, really good. But you have to flop presser. You can't try to just go over their hand because all that force, you're just going to kill your arm and all that force is going to get negated right down into the pad. You have to drag them out and pull them around outside their shoulder. That's how you have to beat a flop presser. You have to do it.
And you're going to burn yourself out by
surgeons. I've done it. When I first started, I did it. I just kept hitting, and he's just sitting there. And I'm like, and I just started, getting less and less. And next thing you know, I'm like this, getting pinned. Right. So, yeah.
And David Jensen, Dakota was already on the first half hour of the show. He had to dip out. So I don't know where Zach is.
He's training, gym training with Cody Mighty Mouse tonight. I think you met Cody, Jody. He was on the pod with us once. Yeah. He's training at Mighty Mouse's house, and then tomorrow night's practice. So tomorrow night, I'm not sure how the pod's gonna go, but we got to do it. And I don't miss. Dustin Finley in the chat. Hey, buddy. I don't know who's going to be on tomorrow night, but I got to do it. Tuesday night, I never miss. So we'll probably have Zach and Dakota for the first hour tomorrow night, and then it'll be practice. And I might do it live from practice, but I don't think I'll have the energy after golf. Me, Matt, and Sean, and I don't know who else. We're going to all go golfing tomorrow. Have just like a guys out day golfing. Yeah.
Oh, before I forget, how often do you have two podcast hosts have a super match? How often do you see that?
Not on the same podcast, but I mean, other ones we should do it. I've been trying to line it up forever, like Ozzy versus Pradeep or something.
So, like, no, they're like co-host.
Oh, no, so, but okay, I can beat both my co-hosts because I'm fucking 800 pounds heavier. Yeah.
So you got Ryan SB and myself. We also co-host the Can-Am Connection, which will be on tomorrow morning, by the way. So, and you know, October 4th, I'm going to his event. That will be the King and Queen of the Table. And I'm sorry, King and Queen of the North. That's an honor qualifier. So I'm going there, support my buddy, have fun. So it's good for me because that means I get to go compete north of the border. I already went south of the border back in July. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm loving this international stuff, right? So I'm going to Canada again. And so I'm thinking, all right, so him and I were kind of talking. Let's hype this thing up. We should have a match. Oh, yeah, let's run it. Let's do it. So when he made the flyer and put it out there, and, you know, for those that don't know, Ryan's, you know, he's in the midst of moving. So he's people, you know, there are times where I had to run the show. He looks good, doesn't he? He had to run the show. I had to run the show on my channel. So everybody thought that we were at odds. I'm like, no. We're not at odds. You know, we're good. You know, we're good. So, we're going to have a super match, best of 5 left hand. Now, what's different is that it's going to take place after the tournament, where normally those matches take place before the tournament.
Usually, but
yeah.
I have to do something different.
And I'm going to wear. I asked him what shirt was he going to wear. He goes, you can wear what you want. I'm thinking, all right. So I'm going to wear my team Saskatchewan jersey that I got.
You're going to get one, but it's going to be a little bit. I have to wait till they put another bulk order in. So, but I'm going to get you one. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to get a few signatures on it for you because it. Because I mean, we have some Canadian national champs that were there. So I might as well, and I see them all the time. So I'm just going to say, hey, sign this. So you'll have actual Canadian. I mean, maybe you don't want it signed on, but I thought it'd be cool. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Friends with Benedict's Ryan, his goal is to get 275. By the way, so that's you know, he's about right there, give or take. You know,
my weight. Jean Von. Can you say that name? I can't. I don't know. I don't want to butcher it.
I can't pronounce that last name. I'm gonna say he's from Slovakia.
So my weight right now.
If you're not,
it's okay. Yeah, no, my weight right now is about 312. Yeah. So I could lose some weight, but you know what? I'm not all that tiny. Right. I'm good. I'm decent shape. I mean, it's my weight number sounds like I'm a lot heavier than you know what I mean? But I've been feeling really strong and probably in the best shape I've been in a long time. So, yeah.
You just got to stay healthy, man.
Yeah, I'm just a big guy, man. Like, you know, like my whole life. And, you know, people say, oh, you can, like, what weight class can I go down to? If they have a 275 class, I can make that. Right? But 242, no.
Funny you mention that because the Arnold and Ryan's event, there is a 275 class because now the Arnold expand their weight classes, right? So there's that 275 class, and of course there's a 276 and over. So, you know, he's trying to get down to that, you know, and he's South African. All right on, man. And it's like, you know, to get to 275 for SB is like amazing, you know.
Yeah. Looking light.
I mean, come on, October 4th, Winnipeg. I'll be there.
He's 275. He looks like he even got lighter. Like his neck and everything have lost so much weight. Like he's looking. I thought he was like. I'm like, whoa, he's looking real thin. I'm not used to ever seeing Ryan that thin. Yeah.
Well, I think, and him and I had this talk, as we get older, because next year both of us will be 50, right?
Yeah. I'm
so
close.
when you get to that age, you kind of go, do I really want to, walk with all this weight? Not that I'm like 270 plus, but you kind of feel like, I don't want to be, for me, when I was like 250, January, the one thing I do every year, first of the year, every single time I go hop on the scale, for one, to see, okay, how bad was I during the holidays? And then second of all, okay, this is where I'm at, where I want to be. So the thing was, I got on the scale and it, 250, right? 249.6. We'll call it 250, right? And I was like, dude, this is not cool, right? And our room is, here's the office, our bedroom's right there. It's going up and down the steps with laundry, dude. You can't, man, it kills me because that right there, I hated that. So I'm thinking, I'm just drop some of this weight because I do a lot of walking. I went on vacation a couple of weeks ago to Florida, me and the family, and I was 222 at that point. And I'm thinking, all right, cool. And then I got a little, happy, got a little happy, So now I'm not 222 no more. So I'm thinking, well, then I was like 231. I'm thinking I need to get back down to 220 for that 220 class at Brian's event. But I'm thinking, I got a 242. I'm thinking, fuck it, I just don't need to be 242.
No, but I mean, like what do you? So when you cut, so let's say you're sitting like 235, and you've done it before, and then you cut for the 220. Do you feel strong, or do you feel like you were stronger at 230, like without the cut?
I feel strong. It's like,
you know what I'm saying, right? I'm just trying to,
happy meeting. Yeah. 240, it's like I feel strong, but I feel I win. I get winded easy. Whereas 220, I feel like, oh, this is perfect, But there might be a few guys that were more lead in their butt that could take me over. Where that 225, 230 range is right is like the sweet spot for me.
Well, you know what Hutchings says.
Problem
what
is,
Hutchings says. Hutchings says honest. He says honestly. He says 220 to like 300. He says other than weight. He says that the gaps are, unless like once everyone's elite and you're at the pinnacle of your strength or where you can be, the gap isn't as big as you think. Like he says it's very minimal. He goes, and he kind of proves it all the time, pulling at like 205 against super, like Corey. Remember when he pulled Corey? Corey was like 400 pounds, like, you know what I mean? 200 kg, so 445. And Hutchings came in at like 220, 215 or something. Right. And he won.
And went like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah. So like, even though, we want to say weight matters a lot, I don't know if it does, man. Like, I don't really know if it does. I think it can be that 1 percentage point difference, but I think your strength potential is greater if you're holding more muscle mass but tendons are still tendons too. Right. And we always forget.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way. October 4th, Ryan Espy will be because he wants to qualify for the all-night 275. So, 275, I'll probably walk in around 225, 230.
Yeah.
There's going to be a difference. He's going to outweigh me by a lot, which is fine. And there's going to be some power there. So I already know going into this match. And by the way, there's no animosity between Ryan. We're still good friends. It's just we're going to hype this thing up, hype this event up.
You're both lefties.
There's no right. So, that and the fact that you got to realize too that, I already know he has me in the strength department. I'm not going to out-muscle him whatsoever. That's just the way it is. But I will say this though, I got to be calculated in what I do. If that means I got to hit the bullseye, I got to do some rope-a-dope. I got to be the technician that I can be to know where to beat Ryan, because there's no way I'm going to out-muscle that guy. Hey, there ain't no way. That's just the way it is,
Yeah, no, it's true. And Ryan, I think it's interesting too, because Ryan's a big guy and everything, but he relies on the speed of his hit as well. He's very much a hitter, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a hitter. Where I think I know that it seems like you rely on the hit, but I've watched you have battles and fight through a lot, so I don't know. I think that's going to be a real fun match. I think that he has some strengths you don't, and you definitely have some strengths he don't, and that could be a good
Right.
match. Like I don't rule you out on that match. I give Ryan the edge just because, but we don't know how Ryan has he done a lot of pulling since he's lost all this weight. I don't know. I don't know what his training regimen is.
No, he's been so busy with work and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I know he's been practicing, but I don't like competition wise. I don't know because, like I say, he's been busy at work and they just moved to a different house. I mean, that's probably the priority right now. So
that's what he said. He was moving to a new place there when I came on the pod with you guys.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. We're gonna hang out the Friday night. So I'm excited. And I'm more into these international trips to compete. Like, who knows? Because it's just I don't know. I mean, I got some things going on in my brain where there's a lot of corruption going on in the States with arm wrestling.
There is, but there's a lot of bright. There's a lot of shining lights coming through too. Like I don't think.
Yes.
I think even with the drama that just happened recently with East versus West and the Greg Sharps and all this crap, I think that we've grown to the point now where it didn't affect us like it might have 10 years ago.
Right. There's other options. That's why it's good about this. Like, I had so much fun competing in Mexico because you got those guys, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. I'm thinking, okay, and they were there to compete. And I'm thinking, I went down there as an outsider, right? So I'm thinking, all right, that's cool. I'm going there, and they don't know me. I don't know them. And lo and behold, I went to the 220 class, open class, and walked away first place on their home turf.
Yeah, and they got some killers over there too in Mexico, man. Yeah.
Well, you got to realize that I go to shake their hands because I get there on a Friday night and I shake their hands. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, dude, their hands are so thick and they're like, it's like granite because that's all they do is work with their hands.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, damn, I'm thinking I'm going to have my work cut out. But, I did what I did, relied on my speed, relied on, the technique aspect because I'm never going to overpower anybody. I was never that power puller. I was always that technician. So I was always doing stuff like that. So yeah, I got to make sure. And here's the funny part. I'll give you another little secret before I got to get off because my wife is signaling for dinner. I'll give you another secret. My style is meant for tournaments, not so much super matches. But you don't know what you got until you have to use it. I'll give you an example. So you remember that I went to Arm Wars and I pulled that guy from Romania. Yeah, so I pulled the Dracula guy, right? And I walked in there going, I'm gonna top roll this guy because I like to control the hand. And he blocked the angle of my top roll.
No, who'd you pull? And no, I remember that match. Damien, no, Andrew, no. Already. What's his name?
No, it's I'm gonna look it up.
Popescu, Adrian Popescu.
My brain's on. Yes, Popescu. So walking in there, I'm trying to top roll this dude, and all of a sudden, because he went to, I think he kind of low hand me, so it blocked my angle of my top roll. I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I go back to my corner. I got Austin Jaggers, I got Mika, and I got John Therian in my corner. And I'm like, oh, try this, try that. So I'm thinking, all right, you know what? He has so much attention up top that all this was being ignored. I said, you know what? I'm just going in there with him. So I went in there with him, and it was like going, oh, okay. And connection. Connection. So if you go back and watch that match number 3, I go in there. I'm not good. We driving back and forth, and I finally hit an area. I just sat there and pressed him down. And of course, I get the elbow foul. And in Arm Wars, you elbow foul. You have to win.
You have to earn it to restart. Yeah.
Right. So again, same thing. Went inside again, and then once I got that, I got my shoulder involved, and he would go. I would stop him here, bring him back. I couldn't do that, and then finally, I just sat there and just drove down. And I felt that lane that we were talking about, and I felt that. I was like, all right, cool. Now I got something here. And by that point, though, you can't have every match in these grinders because at some point you're going to wear out.
You start wearing out because you know what? I don't think you're bad at super matches. I just think that you would have to train a little more for endurance the next super match you get. You know what I mean? Because you have options and you have different lanes. And you even probably surprised yourself that day because I was pumped when you came back and freaking I was like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you guys had a war. That was a really good match. And he's no joke. That guy's really good.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Arm Wars is funny because that was the scheduled match. And once you're there for the weekend, Neil he just throws you in with it. There's matches that took place
right-handed.
that will never see the light.
Right-handed too. Yeah.
Huh? My right hand was, I told Neil, I was like, dude, my left is better, but he's like, we'll do it right. I'm thinking, all right, fine, whatever. So both matches that got aired were right-handed. Go figure, right? So the other match I pulled was Jason Hill. Hometown guy. I went, dude, 6 rounds, right? I went down 3-0. So my head's all fucked out by the guys in my corner, like, oh, do this, try this. I'm like, hey, you got to breathe. I'm thinking, and then Sam Burnett out of Australia was on the steps and yelled at me, Jody, go rest grip. I'm thinking, okay, I mean, at this point, I'm down fucking 3-0 shit, So I go rest grip, finally all of a sudden it was just that posting high top roll, just got him over. I'm thinking, okay, so now you'd be surprised when you get one win match, it gives you the confidence. Cool. So now I'm down 3-1. Here's match 5. I fucking hit him so hard, he backed up, and then I just jammed his fingers down.
Yeah.
That would be your, exploding hand technique.
Yeah, exploding hand. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It's 3-2. So I'm thinking, okay, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to tie this thing up so we can go to silver bullet. I'm thinking, all right, cool, we got it. Get there again. He goes to bail. I went to go like that. He last minute he does that. I'm like going, oh, you fucker, you bailed on me.
Yeah.
And then I got worked up in the setup is where I lost it.
You know what I was taught? I know you got to go, but I was always taught if you don't feel what you want to start the match, there's no reason the match should ever start. You should automatically be going for the ref script because the ref script neutralizes what that guy's beating you in. The second that guy's beating you in the setup, you need to be humble to yourself and say, listen, this guy's kicking my ass in the setup. I need the ref script. And if you don't, and I was always told, if you don't feel like you got what you need to go, you don't. You have to try to just get what you need. And if you don't, let it be a ref script. And that started getting me wins. Yeah.
And that's the thing, because I was like, there was like 1,000 things going on in my mind because, match 4 was ref script. Cool. Match 5, I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because he tried to slip. I just grabbed his fingers and went like that. So I'm thinking, all right, I got you figured out now.
Yeah.
And like he went to bail last time, and then I went to come down, and he slipped out of it. I'm like, oh,
and then it neutralized that. So real quick, Brian and Tony Tomlinson, you know who Tony Tomlinson is pulling October 11th in Alberta? Lethbridge, Alberta. We got Tony Tomlinson versus Dustin Houghton. It's going to be at the Iron Core event. Yes, October 11th. Wow. Yes, so Tony's making the trip here. So that should be a good match. Yeah, Tony Tomlinson, he's more of a lefty. Yeah, but I got Dustin in that match. So, but we'll see. That'll be a good match. And last, but no, I'm going to end it with you go anyway, Jody. So real quick, also got this poster, guys. I'm going to be September 22nd. I'm going to be doing the draw. So if you can become a member, you automatically get an entry. You can either be one of our hookers for for $250, or you can be a Knights mover. Either one will get you an entry for the poster. It's signed by everybody from East versus West 17. John Brzezinski, Yoshi Kanai, Matt, the whole works. Anyway, and that was John's retirement match. So that makes this very special poster. I have it right up behind me over here. And it's signed by all the athletes. So get a membership, or next time we're on, do a small super chat and you get an entry towards the poster too. So just want to throw that out there. Yeah. And thanks so much, Jody, for coming on. I always love talking.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It was good to chat. Everybody in the chat, thanks a lot. Yes, David, I got the for the Drew, I got the message. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that collagen thing. So I'm gonna look it up and do some research on that. But everybody, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Canada Connection tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the WA split.
That's in the morning, right? You guys do that?
Yes, that's 9 a.m. West Coast time.
Yeah, I think it's 11 a.m. here or something.
Yeah,
9 a.m. your time, so it'd be 10
my
a.m.
time.
Yeah, so 10 a.m. Alberta time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
to that, go. Christian became a member. You get an entry, brother. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Good. Everybody, take care. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay. Have a good one, brother. Thanks, everyone, for joining tonight. Check us out tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Have a good night, everyone. Take care, brother. Peace.
Peace.